Deconverted Man here. The existence of Earth proves God exists. Oh, yes. This is the claim made in the video. I mean, just really. Now, Dr. Daniel King, was he a doctor of probably philosophy or theology, right? Let's see. What are you? Department of Medicine? No, that's not him. Well, at any rate. So we'll look at Mr. King here and see what his thing has to say here, because I'm totally sure that everything he says here is going to be coherent and logical and not insane at all.
The existence of the Earth is proof God is real. The Earth is amazingly fitted to sustain human life.
No, it's not. All right, so even if that was true, how would that prove God? And it's not true. Most of the earth is water. Humans can't live in water. Some of the earth is volcanic. Humans can't live there. Some of the earth is frozen solid. Yeah, you can live there, but it's really, really difficult. So, not all of the earth is really suited for human life. Only certain parts of it, and some parts are better than others. And what with earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, meteor strikes, lightning strikes, you can get killed by nature fairly easily if you don't know what's going on. And even if you do know what's going on, it could still happen. So that doesn't seem like it's really suitable to human life, or at least human flourishing at any rate. So this is not looking very good so far. And of course, it's true today that Earth is habitable by humans, but that wasn't always the case. But I'm sure that his video is going to go into how in the past humans couldn't have possibly existed on Earth, and so that somehow then will translate into God's existence or something, right? Like, he's not going to leave out the millions of years that it took for Earth to become something that humans could dwell upon, right? Right?
Proof God is real. There is a narrow range of values in a variety of different categories that permit life to exist on planet Earth. The probability that these perfect conditions appeared by chance is astronomical. For that reason, the finely tuned nature and situation of the Earth is evidence of design.
No, it's not. Not even a little bit. Oh, good. It's got a syllogism I get to look at. Okay, so he did leave out the important bits. So let's just go over that, because that's important, okay? So we all know the age of the Earth. We should know at any rate. 4.54 3 billion. I usually drop the 3. 4.543 billion years old. So yeah, a little less than 5 billion years old, give or take. Oops. Okay. Got my screen closed. That was fun. All right. We're going to prove that. We're going to pretend that didn't happen. So, what was I saying? Right. Age of the Earth, 4.54 billion years. Okay. So, the Earth wasn't always the way it is today. In the past, the Earth was very different than it was. And the early Earth, according to what we know, using science, was horrible for life. So I'll share this. This is from history.com. Now, maybe you think, well, they could be wrong, and they might be wrong. And if you want to go ahead and prove them wrong or whatever, then, cite your sources and we'll look into it. But yeah, the early Earth was not very good for life. It was a molten ball. It took a while to cool down, and then the moon had to form, um, and there was radiation because there wasn't an atmosphere yet. So life, our life, couldn't be there yet. The ozone layer had to be produced. Um, the That then there was creatures that produce oxygen. Oxygen needed to be a thing. Let's see, it says the GOE. What was that GOE here? Anyways, it raises the atmosphere oxygen levels from near zero to about what it is today. It took about 2 billion years, or that happened about 2 billion years ago. And that was because of blue green algae that appeared about 2.7 billion years ago and used photosynthesis to produce energy. So that made oxygen, which in turn made the atmosphere, which in turn trapped more heat, but also deflected some of the radiation and allowed for different life to evolve. So Earth's oxygen levels fluctuated over time, and the ozone that shielded the Earth would not have allowed us to survive. We wouldn't be there. Humans wouldn't survive that sort of conditions. Um, so yeah, UV radiation, all these things. That was the early Earth, and then if we go to humans, we've got about 2 million years ago or so. Uh, Before modern humans, known as Homo sapiens, uh, were some humans have emerged in Africa, but they were very different than us today. But at any rate, so it took a lot of time to get where we are today, and humans evolved to fit Earth, not the other way around. The Earth wasn't built for us or with us in mind. The Earth wasn't built at all, and nor was it designed. Um, to assert this would require an insane amount of models to prove. You would have to say that the thing that designed it to be made by gravity, so that the dust particles would slowly come together and form a ball of molten lava that would then eventually get bombarded with ice from space, that eventually would cool down, that eventually then would develop some stuff that eventually would do this, and eventually, and it's like, okay, well, why go through all of that lengthy process if you are an intelligent enough being with enough ability and power to just make it the way it is right now? Why go through this long process where nothing appears to have your fingerprints anywhere on it? Nothing appears designed from the get-go. In fact, the way the Earth formed is pretty much how other planets formed, and the way our star formed is the way that other stars formed. So there's something unique about Earth, certainly the way it's composed, But that doesn't mean it's the only one like that in the entire universe. But what he's doing here is he's saying, oh, these huge, giant, big numbers. Right, but that's taking what we are today and mathematically projecting out the chances of that happening to fit the criteria of the Earth today. And the other part of that that's a problem if you ignored everything else is that improbable things happen all the time. If you take any complex situation, the odds against it happening by chance are always going to be astronomical. The very fact that you are alive in this moment goes against several odds. So you woke up this morning. That's something that other people didn't get to do. You you went to the bathroom and you didn't fall in the bathroom, but injuries in bathrooms happen all the time. So you were lucky enough to not injure yourself in the bathroom. Then you went to the kitchen to get something to eat, and you didn't fall down in the kitchen and get injured in the kitchen because injuries in the kitchen happen. And then you ate something and you didn't choke to death, which is something that does happen. People choke to death. Then you were able to get onto a computer and you didn't get electrified when electrical things can happen to people. So the fact that you are existing now is astronomically impossible. So that has to be then design. Or it's just that those things happen and it's not miraculous at all. Let's look at this syllogism and look how bad it is. All right, so premise A, can you say premise one? Whatever. The fine tuning of the earth for the existence of all life is due to either chance, necessity, or design. So you've got a trilemma here set up, which could be a false trilemma, or it could, a disjunctive syllogism is best when there's only two choices. A trifecta system is a little bit more tricky to resolve using informal logic, but it can be done. But the problem is you're leaving out something with chance here. There's a filtering mechanism that you're deliberately ignoring, which is death or decay. So the earth is not fine-tuned for life at all. In the and we've already proved that. We already showed that the early earth was not made with life in mind. It happened to be that life developed on it over time, but it took a long time. And yes, it was in the right place at the right time for that to happen. But that is that just chance? Well, no, because you have a wide variety of other filtering mechanisms going on there. And the filtering mechanism is essentially death or decay. Because some chemicals are going to come together, others aren't. And some things are going to form bonds and others aren't. And the water that occupies Earth had to come and do that. Had to, and of course some hypotheses are that came from ice, from meteorites and asteroids or whatever. And there's other ideas of where the water came from, but regardless of that, the fact is that water had to be there for things to develop further. So we got lucky in a sense, that's chance, but there's also more filtering mechanisms in there because of the way the water is. There is liquid on other planets, and there's no reason to think that life couldn't develop in other types of liquid in other conditions. So to just say chance is leaving a lot out of it. Necessity or design, that's exactly the same thing. Necessity is already implies design, so you don't need this to be a trilemma. It can be a disjunctive syllogism, so it's either chance or design. And of course, to make the premise work, it'd have to say either chance with the filtering mechanisms involved or design. But it's not a true dichotomy because we have no proof of design. There is no reason to assert design unless you know that design is warranted. And in this case, it isn't. So what's premise B? They say the fine-tuning of the earth is not due to chance or necessity. Well, that's just a bald assertion. You'd have to prove that that's the case, and you haven't done so. So this just fails. Premise A fails because of the wording choices, and then premise B fails. So then the conclusion would be then it must be design would be the conclusion of this disjunctive syllogism if it was valid and sound, but it's not.
Premise A. The fine-tuning of the earth for the existence of all life is due to either chance, necessity, or design. Premise B. The fine-tuning of the earth is not due to chance or necessity. Premise C. Therefore, the fine-tuning of the earth is due to design. Premise D. If there
Oh, great. Have more than two premises. You stupid idiot. I'm sorry. No. Look. Let me just correct that. This stupid idiotic argument. Not the guy. Don't want to attack the person, attack the argument. Okay. No, have two premises in your conclusion. It gets clunky when you have more than that. All right. Anyways, so premise D, which should really just be a conclusion here, that you don't need, if there's design, there must be a designer. Conclusion, designer exists, designer is God. What a bulky, that doesn't even follow, because the designer could be anything. You just asserted God without, you would need another argument for God completely. So you know, and yes, Nidiyamas, however you say this name, the Damion said it's worse. The false trilemma can't exclude the possibility of emerging hypothesis. Correct, right. So the designer implemented a process that can carry with the appearance of chance that was done by necessity of how they make stuff. Whoops, it's all three. Right, exactly. So not only is it not a disjunctive syllogism or trilemma, you're leaving out the possibility that the designer wound it all up and then left it to chance once it was all wound up. So then it's both. It's a little bit of everything there, but of course they're not thinking that way. So, but this is completely broken. So let me fix it for them, because that's just it's just a little service that I'm gonna offer them. So let's just go back and we'll fix this stupid argument for them, and then we'll move on with life after I fix it. Well, yeah, whatever. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Oh, this is so bad. All right. Let's see. All right. Stop screen share. Share the screen share of the screen of the paint. Okay. So this is their broken argument. Okay. So first, there isn't any fine tuning. So that's gone. So also all life, not all life, because life evolved over time. So the early life was different than the later life. So that has to be changed. So so let's fix that. Let's see. If life is here, then it's either chance or design. So that's one. And then two would be it's not chance. Oh wait, we have to say chance with the filtering mechanism. When we can't say design because we have no proof of design. So it's either that. Well, now it's just this. It's chance with filter. So but there is a God. Now we got to get that in here somewhere. Let's see. Life is here because of chance. With that filtering mechanism, right? And then you go premise to God exist. No, you can't do that either. You know what? There's no way to fix this argument. because it's completely broken. You can't honestly do it. But if you're gonna be dishonest, I suppose you could just say it like this. You could just say, fine tuning. Forget about Earth. You just say fine tuning. Usually, it's about the universe. It's either X or Z. It's not X, so then it's Z. And then as far as a god, you'd have to be like, okay, designer is either an alien or time travelers or God or some other thing. And it's not those things. So it's God. Yeah, you can't fix this argument. It's broken. I can't fix it. I can't fix your argument. I failed. I can't. There's no fixing it. That's how broken your argument is. Cannot be fixed. Your argument is so broken, I cannot fix it. Good job. Well done.
Tuning of the earth is due to design. Premise D, if there is design, there must be a designer.
Yeah.
Conclusion?
And reality requires a realtor. My brain hurts.
Therefore, a designer exists, and this designer is
this
God.
Is so bad.
Scientists have discovered more than 75 different finely tuned details in our world that are each essential for life to exist.
Citation required. I bet it's in the description. Let's see. Get your copy of the book. Get a study guide. Enroll in the thing. He's a missionary evangelist. Blah, blah, blah. Go to this thing. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Link to the audio. No, there's no citations. Interesting that you would just say that scientists have done something and have no citations to them doing that thing that you claim that they did. It's almost like you're making it up. All right, anyways.
If even one of these conditions were slightly out of tune, then life on this planet would be rendered impossible.
Well, no, that's not quite true. And you're talking about the fine-tuning of the universe, not of Earth, which is a completely different argument than the one that you presented. You made a worse argument out of the fine-tuning argument, which is usually just talking about the fine-tuning of the universe and leaving Earth out of it, which is because of all the problems that I exposed by showing that life on Earth wasn't always a thing and couldn't always have been a thing. Usually the fine-tuning arguments about the constraints of the universe, the strong and weak nuclear force and things like this. But when the scientists are talking about that, they're not saying that if these things were different, that all life would be impossible, but that our type of life might be impossible. But those things that they have said sometimes, and I've heard that they've said this, but I've yet to see the peer-reviewed paper on it. I've heard that they said this. I don't know that they actually have said this. I've just been told that they've said this. I don't even know who said this. So I don't really believe that they even said this at this point. And if we look up fine-tuning, we'll find out about it. And maybe the scientists mean something different than what he thinks they mean. And the other problem is, of course, other life could be possible. It just wouldn't be our type of life. So something else would have evolved instead. This is just assertion without any documentation to support it. It's a bald assertion without any argument at all. No citations at all. And so we don't have to believe it. So, what is fine tuning? Who talks about it? Is this something that we can study? And who studies it? And who who supports it, who doesn't support it, and you can read up on it and learn about it. But he's not interested in doing any of that because he's interested in getting to his conclusion that there's a God, and not just any God, but of course his particular version of God, whatever that might be. And by the way, putting proof on the top left of your video doesn't mean anything. That's not anything. You don't have any proof here. Your argument failed and you have zero evidence and zero citations. But maybe in the next 9 minutes, you'll come up with something. You won't, but maybe.
Mathematicians have calculated the probability of all 75 of these details happening perfectly by chance is less than 1 in 100,000 trillion.
Yeah, I've heard these numbers before listed by apologists, and the numbers wildly vary from apologist to apologist. Note that he doesn't tell you what mathematicians figured this out or how they figured it out, which is really important. If you look this up, you'll find different variables for this listed by different apologists. If they do bother with the numbers at all, and you got to wonder, how do they come up with the numbers, and who is it, and why are they all different? I remember an apologist had 4 different sets of possible numbers, and they're all really big numbers. But again, that doesn't really mean anything because we prove that we are able to overcome astronomical events to live. So the very fact that we're alive defies mathematical odds, which is why you shouldn't try to apply math in such a way. But without any citation to look at, we have nothing to explore. So we don't need to even believe you that this is something that was actually done.
Here are some of those conditions that make life possible. 1, the distance between the Earth and the sun. This planet is set at precisely the right distance from the sun. If the Earth was 1,000,000 miles closer to the sun, we would all burn up. And if the Earth was 1,000,000...
If it was 1,000,000 miles closer to the sun, there wouldn't be an Earth. Again, I'm tempted to call him a nitwit. No, your argument's a nitwit. Your face is an argument. Wait, what? No. If it was 1,000,000 miles closer, jeez. Yeah, you wouldn't have a planet anymore. There's lots of other. This isn't the only solar system there is. There's other solar systems. So yeah, and the Earth can be closer or farther away from the sun. If Mars had an atmosphere, it could sustain life. Mercury, it's a bit too close. Venus, maybe. If Venus had a better atmosphere and wasn't so toxic, it could support life. In fact, maybe it does support life when we haven't found it yet. Who knows? It just wouldn't be our type of life. It might be some sort of plant life or something like that, or bacterial life or whatever. So yeah, you could, you might want to move Venus a little bit further away from the sun to be more comfortable, and pull Mars a little bit closer to be a little bit more comfortable. But we could easily have existed on either of those planets with the right kind of atmospheres and enough water. So this is just false. We could also live on the moon if there was an atmosphere, and there's plenty of moons around other planets that we could also live on if they had atmosphere. So if we terraform different planets, we could definitely live on them. So this is completely false. Oops. Oh well. But who cares about reality? Keep going.
Miles further away from the sun, we would all freeze. 2, the composition of the atmosphere, oxygen. The atmosphere is 21% oxygen. If oxygen was 25% of the atmosphere, fires would spontaneously combust.
Citation needed, but remember, I already covered how oxygen wasn't always where it is today, and the only reason we got the sort of oxygen that we did is because of the different plants and stuff that were around before. So yeah.
If it was 15% of the atmosphere,
yes.
then we would not be able to breathe.
Yes, and if things were different, they'd be different. Okay, so that's the entirety of this argument, isn't it? Yeah, okay, so more if things were different, it would be different. I've got a different premise. I really want to do the premise. Yeah, it attacks the person and not the argument. So I shouldn't do it, but I'm going to anyways. So premise 1, you are big enough to create a gravity well. There is no gravity well around you. Therefore, you're not big enough to create whatever. I don't know. Never mind. It didn't work out. I had a whole insult based on its weight, but then I looked down and I realized I'm kind of chubby too. So, yeah. Well, what was I saying? Oh, we're still doing this? Okay.
House effect would quickly overrun humans, and there would not be enough oxygen to breathe.
Okay.
If there was less carbon dioxide, plants would not be able to handle photosynthesis.
Yeah, you know what we keep doing? We keep dumping carbon monoxide into our own atmosphere. That's brilliant of us, isn't it? Oh, yeah, we could, build nuclear power plants. Now, they're not a perfect solution, mind you, because not everywhere is suitable for nuclear power plants. You'd have to use other solutions in other parts of the world. Maybe we can figure out fusion. That'd be a good idea. I don't know, but we need to do something to change the way that we can make energy. And it can't just all be solar, and it can't just all be wind and water, because that's not enough. The nuclear solution seems to be one of the better ones, but there's others, it's a combination of things. So we do them all. We could, as a world, just decide, let's do that. Shut down, we'll build the thing plants, and then we'll transfer the energy, we'll switch over to that, and we'll stop using the coal producing plants. We'll stop using the plants that run on other things or whatever, right? And give it to the third world nations too. Let's just build some plants in those places as well. Yeah, yes, people are going to need to be trained on how to do it, and that's going to make jobs, and that's going to make everybody some money, and that's going to be a good thing, because the more money there is around and more jobs, and that's all good. And but we're not going to do that because we're stupid. We don't even know what we're doing anymore. The non-vaccine people are probably going to kill us all, and Omicron version 29, when it becomes the mutant Omega Supreme, it's going to turn into Unicron and be a planet eater, and then the virus is just going to eat us. So whatever, and that's really suitable for life. Why were viruses here? Whose idea was a virus at all? Why are there viruses? What good do they do? Now, you can make an argument for bacteria, because you have bacteria living in your gut. You need this bacteria. In fact, you can even donate that bacteria to somebody that needs it. And that's a thing that we can do thanks to medical science. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, it's yeah, that's kind of weird. But yeah, you need that bacteria. Okay, so, but viruses doesn't look like, I don't see any need for them. Is there a good virus? I don't think there is. Are viruses even alive? Kind of, but not really. Bacteria is, but not virus. So what's a virus? Why virus of? So why did this designer design it so badly that we would have viruses? I can understand the bacteria because we kind of need it. But then again, you don't really need it because you can design it a different way. So what are the odds against your God being the right God with however many different versions of God that are out there? What, 20K at least? So that's 1 in 20K. But that's ignoring how many different gods that there were in the past, and different spirits and entities and whatever, and other possibilities, aliens, time travelers, I don't know, alternate dimensions and other universes that have done it, simulation idea, whatever. What are the odds against you having the right thing? That must be astronomical as well. Anyways, You're irritating me, and I'm not even done with this video.
4. Gravity.
Gravity! Ah! Okay, I'm done. No, I can't. I can't do it anymore. 1 miles either way wouldn't be 1 million miles either way wouldn't make that big of a difference. Okay, well, I don't know. Look, I don't know. A million, it's just I don't know how many miles it would be. I think I was like in my brain a million was bigger than it seems. But yeah, I'm no scientist, so I don't know. But yeah, because like how close is Venus? Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Anyways,
the gravitational force acting on the Earth is so finely tuned.
Oh my God! No, it's not. No, gravity is the same everywhere. Ah, fuck me, and that's
changed by 1 part in 10, followed by 40 zeros.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
The sun would run out of fuel and be unable to sustain life, and the moon would either crash into the Earth or escape into space.
What? Huh? What? Like, yeah, I guess if gravity was different, then gravity would be different and things would be vastly different. So, you know what would be great to have? I don't know, just an idea. How about a model that shows all this? Just like get a computer program. There's that Universe Sandbox simulator. Use that and just show us what it would look like with different gravity. But more than that, you're going to need a better simulator than that because you're going to have to simulate it from the very, T1 point to now. And you're going to have to, and it's going to have to figure out and calculate what sort of elements and chemicals will be created. And like, so if gravity was different, maybe different chemicals and elements would be different. I don't know. Maybe if it was stronger gravity or weaker gravity, we would have more or less. I don't know. I don't know, because nobody's made that simulation yet, and that's weird. You would think that they would. They'd be like, "Oh, look, we've proven that this is the only viable universe," which still wouldn't prove God, but it'd be something. Anyways, centrifugal force. Oh no, centrifugal force isn't really even a thing. Oh my God! Ah!
5. Centrifugal force of our solar system. If the centrifugal force of the solar system did not exactly match the gravitational pull of the sun, no planets would be able to maintain their orbits.
That's not.
6.
Wait. That's not like that's not even. If things were different, how do we know a different type of life would arise? Yes, exactly. Agree, we wouldn't be here in a current form, but who's to say some other life form wouldn't form? Right, exactly. It could be some other life. Oh, a placement of our solar system in our galaxy? Oh, come on. What's up? Let's just go to the next slide. The situation inside of Jupiter, because it sucks in meteorites and stuff. Oh yeah. That was put there by God. But then, you know what's a better idea than Jupiter? How about no asteroids at all? Like God threw an asteroid to kill off the dinosaurs so that the lower mammals could have a chance at things, right? But then why let the dinosaurs be there? Why have asteroids and meteors? Then you don't need Jupiter, right? Like, you're the builder. You don't need to have asteroids and meteorites at all. You made the system. Why would you make it this way? Like, I'm going to constantly throw stuff at you, but I'm going to have a vacuum that sucks in some of the stuff that I throw at you. So I just here's the illustration I want to form in your mind. So this is the designer that this guy is talking about, right? I've designed this. I have designed I shoot baseballs at you, okay? And off to the side is a very, very powerful vacuum that catches most of the baseballs. Not all of them. Occasionally a baseball is going to hit you. But I've given you a couple of gloves so that you can catch some of them and they're not going to hurt you as much. But a few of them are going to hit you in the head. Now, am I a good designer that I've designed such a scenario for you? No. Why did I do that? Kind of sadistic on my part, isn't it? I wanted to see you get hit in the head by a few baseballs and laugh. How do I convince my brother that we need to do this in real life to prove a point? Anyways, all right. Yeah. So Jupiter proves nothing. Anyway, size of the moon and the distance from the Earth. Yeah, the moon could be closer or farther away from Earth than it is. And it wouldn't change that much. But yeah, and then the size, I don't know. I don't think that it could, again, probably be a little bit more or less, and it wouldn't really matter that much. That's not proof of anything. The thickness of, oh god, just somebody, the rotation of the earth. Oh, I'm so done with. I'm not a scientist. I can't cover this well. I can only tell you that you're wrong. That's all I can do is tell you you're wrong. Oh, planetary ecosystem. Stop! It hurts my brain. Why? The polarity of water. The polarity of water molecule. No, that's it. I quit. I'm done. I give up. No, I'm done. No, I'm done. No, I do. I quit. I'm done. I'm done. I'm just done. I can't. I can't keep going. You do it. Somebody else do this video. Why did I select this video? I'm like, oh, this will be good. This will be hilarious. No, it's too stupid. It broke Deconverted Man. Tune in next week when I'm unbroken or whenever I do this again. I guess I might do a part 2 if enough people comment on this video and tell me what I got wrong about all the science, which is everything. I could do the logic part. Couldn't even fix his broken argument, though. And the things, the lobsters would be the dominant species if things were different. That proves the lobster god is the real god. I'm hitting the button now, and if you comment enough on this video, then I'll do a part 2. But if nobody does, then I'm not going to do part 2. So there. Yeah, that will give me some comments. The end of the thing. I've lost my brain now. I hope you're happy. Anyways, so like, comment, and all that stuff. Yeah. Thanks for watching.